All right, what is going on today, guys? And today we have another very, very special guest, my man Mason here. So me and Mason have been working together for not very long, just a few months, but I will say his transformation is beautiful, right? Absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna hand it over off to Mason real quick before we get started. Mason, kind of tell everyone like one who you are, what you do for a living, how old you are, and kind of like just kind of give us a rundown of who Mason is.
All right, Adam. Well, first and foremost, let me say how appreciative I am for you to have me on this call. It's always a pleasure to see your handsome face as much as I can. I definitely do enjoy it. But hello, everyone. My name is Mason Sloan. I am 38 years old. I am an Army vet. And since last year, I started to teach. I teach at the college level. So I mainly work with freshmen and sophomores, and I learn any and everything that is classified as Gen Z. So I'm learning a lot about slang. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about trends and fashion, music, and everything else. And so that keeps me fresh. It keeps me up to date. But as far as my health goes, my my story and health and wellness is very long. For let me see, for the majority of my life, up until the age of 23, 24-ish, I was pretty big. I was a heavyset guy. Around that time, I got plugged with a friend of mine who happened to be a trainer at a Gold's Gym. He started me off with just getting into the gym, learning certain things, learning how to lift, exercise, everything else. And so I worked with him for a few weeks. Then after I left him, I actually did go on ahead and hire a trainer at Gold's Gym, worked with him for another 6 months. And then to make a long story short, for the next year plus, I lost something like 85 pounds. I the At the age of 23, I weighed 265 pounds, and it was just all here. It was it was just all in my stomach. I used to drink like a fish. I used to go out and have fun. I used to eat like crap and everything else. And so it really was a drastic change for me to lose that weight. And so once I lost that weight, I got super, super lean and thin. And so since then, I played around with in a number of things. I've worked with machines, I worked with free weights, I've worked in CrossFit, and I've also up until I started to work with you, Adam, I actually was mainly a weight lifter as well. I did those Olympic lifts, well, the clean and jerk, the snatch, da 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 da. And so now here I am. I am approaching the ripe age of 40, the big 40, if you will. And so my life goals, if I can use that expression loosely, has changed as far as what I want to do for the next 10 plus years of my life.
hmm Well, dude, like you have like a ton of fitness experience under your belt. Like just like hearing all of that like coming from you. But I was curious to know like kind of like what's the difference between obviously like the program I have in our relationship and then like the trainers you've been with in in the past.
The one thing that has changed, which I'm not trying to put down anybody else I've ever had, because in their own unique ways, including yourself, you all have your pros as far as the actual things or traits that I really endear myself to. But the one aspect that I really have found about comparing yourself to the trainers of the actual past is how much time and effort you do put with your clients, as far as you're always on a call anytime I need to shoot you a text, anytime I need to reach out about a question. You're pretty quick. You're very much quick to respond. And I'm not saying that the people I've had in the past are not, but they mainly were there just for a set time. Like if I was going to train with trainer X, he and I would train on Monday and Wednesday from noon till 1.
Mhm.
So that was the time frame I had with him. And of course, outside that block of time, if I shot him a text, asked him a question, he would definitely give me a response. But yet, in my mind, I knew that I was paying him just for that 1 hour per day block of
Mm,
time that I was expected to train with him. But with you, man, I mean, I'm not trying to, put you on a throne or anything else, but you really do go the extra mile as far
mm,
as just being helpful and being there. And you help me out with, the actual nutrition piece as well and
mm.
everything else. And so, man, I mean, that is the one thing I know that we've only been training for about 3 months now, but in those short 3 months, that without a doubt is something that's hit home with me.
Dude, well, I appreciate you saying that, all that, man. And like the thing is, like you've put the work in. Like at the end of the day, like I can only put the plan together. But like you show up, you be consistent, and you ask the questions that need to be asked. You ask very highly intelligent questions that help you learn as well, man. And dude, I will say, like, dude, you've gotten shredded. Like your abs look like something off of Zac Efron Baywatch. Like,
He actually is a Hollywood crush of mine too, so I'll take it.
but like, dude, like, like, how do you feel about the transformation you've made in these short 3 months that we've kind of been together?
Well, and I joke, and you may get a laugh, but I'll wait till you get your drinking. So I want you to actually spit out your drink as I'm about to say this. But anymore, with some of my guy friends in the gym, I always joke once again because of the age I'm at and the age I'm starting to approach. I always joke, I'm now to the point. I don't care how strong I am. I just want to look good when I take off my shirt. So I don't care how strong I am. And so, in a lot of ways, that is where I'm at. And yet, I am very, very blessed and content because at the end of the day, based off my life, based off my life experiences, I am as humble as they come with everything that God has given to me and blessed me with and everything
Mm,
else. I am very, very much that. But yet the one thing too that I am is I'm never fully content. And at
mm,
times in my life, that has been a double-edged sword. But yet where I'm at now with my nutrition and everything else, I still want to go even more. I still want to push myself, nudge myself even more. And so yet I still want to see how far that I can actually go. And I think when you and I first met, I had said something to you along these lines that I can foresee myself down the road in like a year or less now, where I wouldn't mind to get on stage and actually compete. So that's
right.
kind. So I mean, and especially you may understand what I'm about to say too, and especially some of the guests who are actually listening to our call. But as a male, men males need goals. We have to have goals in life. And so my one goal is to push myself as hard as I can actually go. And for me,
Mm,
being a fat kid at one time at a specific point in my life to now potentially getting on stage and actually doing
mm.
a men's physique competition, that is just it's just great. It's just great in a lot of ways. And so that is the goal. And so now it's just trying to put in the effort, if you will.
Yeah. Well, dude, and that's amazing, man. And like you're like we're a super hardworking dude, and like I don't care if like you don't want to be modest right now. I'll say it out loud. Like you're shredded right now, and your abs are like beautiful. Like dude, I'm saying like you made an amazing transformation and got very very shredded, and like your abs just came out like so prominent, and that's something that I'm super happy with because that's one thing was our biggest focus is like getting you like really lean like right off the bat, and like we did just that. So like I guess like what was the biggest missing piece for you to like get like as lean as you were now before? Because dude, like to be honest, like you're eating 700 more calories than when we started.
Yeah.
Like, and that's incredible. Like you're eating 700 more calories, you're lean as hell, and you got Baywatch Zac Efron abs. Like, how do you feel about that?
Bro, it really is just a great, great thing. And I mean, I'm just very, very content and happy in that regard. But yet, as I said before, I still want to push myself more so.
Mm,
But if I had to put what you now asked me into a response, I would say the one thing that has really helped me to kind of go from where I was before I met you compared to
mm,
up here is the fact that I have a plan. And when I say a plan, it was merely the fact that I knew what foods are healthy, what foods are clean, da 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 da
mm,
da. But yet I didn't have a firm count. I didn't know like how much of carb X, how much of
mm,
protein Y and fat Z that I need to consume each day.
mm,
And so you helping me to find that missing link as far as what I need to do each day as far as the food aspect has
mm,
really been a blessing in disguise if I
mm.
if I can use that
Absolutely.
term. And because I think back to the type of training that I used to do before I met you. And so with the clean and jerk, the snatch, the Olympic lifting, I used to spend at least 2 hours a day in the gym just because of how much rest time, how long it would take to get through a set of cleans, how long it would take to get through a set of snatching, da da da. It takes a lot of time to just do one single lift, and then you have to break because of how much
Yeah.
energy, how much this you have to exert to get that lift done. And so now with your plan, on average, I'm in and out of the gym in 1 hour.
Mm.
Plus, plus, as you had said, I am consuming more food each day and I'm getting leaner. It's crazy. It is crazy in so many ways. And so I mean, if you want me to lie, I'll say, well, you gave me a magic pill or something to make this occur. But I really just don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just the science. It's just how our system, our body works, and
Yeah.
everything else. But at the end of the day, the point I always go back to, it's all God. That's the only thing I can say. It's God's help, man.
well, well, yeah. The thing is that you're not like far off. Like everyone kind of goes through the same thing when because I kind of teach like higher level nutrition, like down to the actual science of things. And
Yeah.
like most people, like the biggest thing I come across is like for people like think that you need to like starve yourself and go on very restrictive diets to get lean and get the body that you want to get. When like that's simply just not true. Like obviously you're seeing like amazing progress with eating more food. So I guess if you had to tell those guys out there that who are trying like low carb diets, intermediate fasting, all these like kind of fad, diets, one size fits all, what would you kind of tell those guys?
I would tell them first, you need to take stock of who you are, what type of events, activities, how busy you are in a typical day. Because I
Mm,
think first you gotta really be content. You gotta be really intact with what events are must in your day. And must can be considered school. You have to be in school from
mm,
8 till 3 or 8 till 2 or whatever if you are a student. If you have a job, you have to be in you have to work from 8 till 5. If you're a dad, if you're a mom, da 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 da, those are certain time blocks you have to be on the clock. And so if you have a firm grasp of like what your days look like, then from there you can kind of talk to a coach, someone like yourself, someone who's in the field, someone who has experience, da da da, and actually find a plan that works for you.
mm,
And you have to be real with yourself. I mean, how many hours in a day, how many hours in a week can you give to yourself?
mm,
And so that was a very tough thing for me, especially with me being in a new job and trying to find my path as far as how many hours in a day can I spend towards myself. And so it came to the point when I started to train with you, work with you, where I said there's cost involved, there's cost of time, there's cost
Mm,
of money, da 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 da, but there's only one of me. And
mm,
likewise, there's only one of you. And so if you're not willing to put in the time, to put in the cost, to put in the money, everything else to kind of invest in yourself, then why are we here then? So I mean, you really have to get to a point where you really have to get yourself up here and really just
mm.
plan ahead and really set some firm goals as far as what you want to do. But at the end of the day, I just advise everybody there to kind of get stock of where you are and
Mm.
then talk to a pro, talk to somebody who's an expert in the actual field and actually
Mm.
get some very valuable insights as far as what plan or plans could actually work for you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to make too, because I work with a lot of guys in your exact position, like mainly like 9 to 5, higher level, like busy guys. And like you're a college professor, like you deal with like just stressful work environments, all the time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like you really like, I guess that how was it kind of molding into your like kind of, career, like with getting into a program like mine, giving you the kind of utensils you need and scheduling one, like your kind of program and obviously the time allocated towards this, how did it like kind of, mold into your career?
It really helped me out because as I had said, as I had alluded to, I started my new role this past fall semester. And so in the fall semester, very, very tough to kind of get a grasp of like what times throughout the day I can go to the gym, how I can meal prep throughout the week, da da
Mm,
da da, and just trying to plan how everything went. And so, if I can say this, being truthful, the fall term, the actual fall semester for me was a train wreck, and in a lot of ways, just trying to do a trial by error, if you
mm,
will, and just trying to see what days, what times that everything will fall into place. I knew at the end of 2023 that was not the approach that I can take, especially with the goals, the aspirations, everything else that I had to potentially do. And so, amazingly enough, at that time, I knew that I wanted to change gears. And so, I mean, that's one reason why I sought you out and actually decided to get plugged with you because I knew I had to get somebody on board to help me to kind of change my lifestyle, to change the way I approach a week of going to the gym, the way a week of just eating, if you
yeah.
will. And so because of the interactions that you and I have had, I've really been allowed to kind of fine tune like what hours throughout the
Mm,
day I train best at, what times of the day I eat well at, because it's very, very easy that if you just give me or someone just a plan, say, hey, you have to consume X amount of carbs, X amount of fats, X amount of proteins per day, here you go. So you have to find out when you and
mm,
your inner system can actually eat and like what times best work for you. And so at first blush, I thought because I teach throughout the day that the lion's share of my food could actually be consumed at nighttime.
mm.
That didn't work out, bro. Initially,
Yeah,
initially, and I and
we
I and
we
I
talked we talked about that too. We're like, because like, and you're right. Like, one is like I really try to simplify everything for you guys, right? And
yeah.
once I simplify it, I even like down to the minute and say, okay, this is how much time your workout's going to take. Let's set aside this amount of time to meal prep. Let's set aside this amount of time because this is when you have the most energy to complete your workout and to make sure that you meal prep for the day. And so, like going back and forth with us really dialing in your work schedule along with your training and nutrition, that is when I started to see like amazing progress very quickly for you. All right. Because, like, the transformation you made eating 700 calories, you're down 10 pounds still, and like you're lean, like Most people don't accomplish that in years. Like most people don't accomplish that in 12 months, and you've done that. And I would say a little under like 8 to 10 weeks range, right? And so really just like dialing in everything with you and really nailing everything on the point with your schedule, because all the information is great. The exercise science stuff's great. The nutrition stuff's great. But as long as when you don't have like an actual consistent routine that you can apply every single day, none of that really means anything. So once you really like seen that consistency aspect for you and like really helping you dialing everything in with your work routine, that's when stuff started to really get fun and really start to pick up, dude. And that's like a big thing too, is that when we dialed that in, that's when you kind of took off.
Oh, for sure. And also too, if I can add one more thing, and this is just truth. I mean, without a doubt, we all find specific times in our life and even
Mm,
times throughout the week where things may not, you know, go as planned. You may have a monkey wrench, if I can use that term, thrown in a typical day, where because of that, you can't go to the gym or you can't eat the specific meals that you have prepped for. And so that is really tough to kind of wrap your mind around saying, how can I get back on track if I do have a single day lost or like 1 or 2 days lost? And so if I can give some advice to anyone out there, is just to stay on path. We all are going to find ourselves involved in stuff that are outside of our control. And so it's just important to, just stay firm, stay accordingly to the plan. Things
mm.
are going to rise up. And so that has helped me out tremendously, as I had mentioned to you before, because I was gone to Greece for
Yeah,
2 weeks. And
yeah.
so while I was there, I did not get to meal prep at all. It was just like, well, I'm going to try to eat as clean as I can, but on specific days, I'm not. It's kind of outside of my control, and so I am just going to work as best as I can.
Well, that comes to another point that I wanted to talk about with like the actual lifestyle part of the program, because like we had just talked about recently too, like right before this call, how like so Mason, first of all, he went for a 2 week long trip to Greece, and we were trying to operationalize like, okay, well, how we could, he was asking like, how do I not take too many steps back? How do I do this X, Y, and Z, and make sure that I'm still making good progress? And we kind of laid it out for him, and we like one like what we teach here is like a more of a lifestyle. Like you were able to go to Greece, maintain your body, maintain your physique, and like really like just like implement a couple like strategies in place on your day to day to like one like keep your body intact. Because most people like when they get scared to like get off plan or go on vacation because they think they're going to take a step back. But like what we've really done with you and your program is really help you understand the kind of balance between the two, right? And that, like kind of explain a little bit more along those lines about how we've created such a balance between you and your life.
I mean, a lot of that has been put into effect a while back, as far as me just being aware of specific foods to kind of, I don't want to say ignore, but yet you have to really walk a fine line on how much you may consume of this specific food group or this specific food in general. If you are out and about with friends or family, what have you. I mean, a prime a prime example, once again, is just my adventures, just being in Greece. I went
Mm.
with a large group, and I was probably the only one in my group who was, let's say, health conscious, if I can use that term loosely. Everybody else was just having a ball, just
Yeah.
beer, wine, this or that, fried food. And so I was like, okay. And once again, I was in Greece for 2 weeks, and I only went to the gym 4 times in 2 weeks, which was really tough to wrap my head around. But yet, based off the interactions I had and the coaching that I had, it worked out well. And so it really is important to just be aware of when you go out to eat, if you're at a bar, if you're at a restaurant, and what type of food groups you do kind of get, or you might share a meal with whoever else. And I mean, and I can use my own example here to kind of shed some light on this. But I I tend to go for like stuff I really do enjoy. Like I enjoy fish. I enjoy, just like fresh fish and chicken and rice. It's always a safe bet, and it's always good. It's always seasoned. Da 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 da. And also, too, guys, hot sauce. At the end of
we
the
talked
day,
we
at the
talked
end of the
about
day,
that.
at the end of the day, no your free stuff,
There's
your free dips and sauces,
wait,
hot sauce, mustard.
me and you had an entire call just based upon like sugar-free sauces. We're like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Like, yeah.
And so and so while I was there, yes, I still had a glass of wine, I still had a beer, I still had some fried squid because it was so so good. And I'm not really a squid guy, but when squid is fried, I don't know, it just tastes so good. And so anything fried is going to taste pretty darn good. And so I was just aware of how much of that stuff that I would consume. And also too, it goes back to trying to plan out your days as we have talked about. So, like a prime example, if I knew on a specific day while I was there in Greece that I was going to go out to a restaurant, then go out to a bar and have some drinks, then I knew that I need to kind of, keep counting my carbs, especially based off of how much I will get in liquid carbs. And
Mm,
so just being fully aware of that part really, really is helpful. And just trying to, and I mean, and even on the days where I couldn't go to the gym, I still walked a lot. I still got
mm,
in a lot of steps. And so there really is a lot of ways that you can still kind of stay engaged with your plan, even though you may not have the gear, you may not have the space, you may not have the equipment to actually do a workout or a prep your foods. You may have like a kitchen to say, because I did stay in a hotel, but yet there's certain foods and snacks that you can eat that still can actually be part of your nutrition plan.
mm.
And so just being fully aware of that has been really, really helpful.
Hmm. Absolutely. That's one thing we really try to capitalize on is like really operationalizing your vacation, making sure first of all you enjoy it, like you're on vacation, but like you got to make subconscious healthy decisions still, right? And like there's
Yeah.
a good balance between not restricting yourself but making good choices, right? There's a difference, right? So, yeah, like I said, you did perfectly. You came back perfectly where I wanted you, like no steps back, and like that's amazing, right? So, I guess if there's somebody still watching this interview, watching this video, lurking in the shadows right now, and they've kind of been where you're at, where one, they've come to from a background of maybe been a little bit overweight in the past,
Yeah.
maybe kind of like, never really finding that consistent routine or never really, I guess, finding that diet or nutrition program or trainer that work best for them, and they're kind of on the fence about making an investment in themselves. What would you kind of tell those guys right now?
I would say first and foremost, you just being aware of the fact that you want to change a specific part of your life. I have so much love and respect for you because it's hard, especially as men, because we have so much pride. It's very tough for us to admit that we may need help. We may need to ask a friend, ask someone for some advice. And especially when it gets to the gym and fitness stuff, very, very tough to
Yeah.
really ask for help. And so I would just really just, I mean, at at the end of the day, I hope that my own story could definitely give some tips and advice. I mean, because once again, in high school, I was a complete nerd. I really was. I was a nerdy kid. I was a nerdy kid. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. Because of my age, I mean, the actual math, I'm sure didn't it didn't hit you, but I have now been out of high school for 20 years. So in September, we're having our 20-year class reunion. And so I already
Oh,
got
it
a
is.
I already have a glimpse, bro. I already have a glimpse of a lot of my classmates who I've not seen in probably 10 plus 20 years, some. And it's like, I'm not trying to put myself up here, but compared to my peers, bro, I look damn good.
Well,
Okay.
I hope it's a pool party.
Exactly. I'm pushing for that too. I'm pushing for that too. And
Uh,
and so, I mean, just think about once again what goals and aspirations that you have in life. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I think at this point in my life, I do. I mean, I don't have kids of my own yet, but yet, if you ask me now, do I want to have kids? I think the answer is yes, without a doubt. And so, I want to get to a point as I age, and my kids do potentially age down the road where I could play with them. And then if they have kids and I'm still alive, that I can still be involved and active with them. And so, once again, as I had said, there's only one of you, only one of you. I know we all have additional stuff in life, cost in life, house, a mortgage, a car, da da da. But at the end of the day, there's only one of you. And so if you're not well, if you're not in a state of mind, a state of self where you're strong, then everything else that's involved in your life, it really doesn't make it just null. It just doesn't have an impact. And so first and foremost, take care of yourself, take care of your own house, which is yourself, your soul, your temple, if you will, and then just work hard and then just find out what really works for you. But please do not be ashamed or do not have fake pride in saying that it sucks that I may have to ask somebody for some help, because I was the guy who at one time was that guy at 22, 23, but then I look myself in the actual mirror and it's like, yeah, I need some help. I need some help. And so just just have that faith in yourself, and then just push onward as best you can.
Well, dude, I'm super proud of you, man. Like, seriously. Like, it's been such a pleasure working for you, and like, you're such an easy guy to work with. Like, me and you get along great. Like, you've made amazing progress, dude, and I couldn't be more proud and happy for you. Seriously. And it's just the beginning. Like, we're still off to a great start. So,
Absolutely, brother.
anyways, before I kind of wrap this video up, first I want to say is if you guys are somebody lurking in the shadows, and you've been struggling, right? You've been trying XYZ diets, all intermittent fasting, low carb. You've been starving yourself. You're seeing unsustainable progress. I get it. I've been there. Mason's been there.
Yeah,
Like, completely understand. But there's a point in time where you got to plant your flag in the sand and you got to start making actual progress. And that might be reaching out for actual help. And I would love to have you. I would love to help you. And I'd love to have you part of the community with me, Mason, all the other 45, 50 rest of the great guys in there. So there will be an application link for my coaching program in the link of this YouTube channel. So go ahead and fill out a time. We'll jump on a call, see if it's a good fit for us to work together. If it is, we'll get you rocking. But with that being said, man, Mason, I can't appreciate you enough for jumping on this call today and kind of, telling the world about your transformation, a little bit about who you are. You're an amazing guy, man, and like I'm excited to keep working with you and keep making incredible progress. And I hope that class reunion sees the real Mason 20 years later, after having shredded abs, looking the best he ever has. So. Anyway, dude, I appreciate you jumping on this call today with me, and let's keep after it, man.
absolutely, brother.
All right.
Take care.